Hi, welcome back to Delia's Plant Nook. Today, we're just going to be doing a little bit of repotting, and I'm just going to call this the late night repotting because it's like 8:30, and yeah, this was the only time I could really do this, which is so let's get to repotting some plants. So the first plant that I'm gonna repot today is my Scindapsus silver satin. I think that's what it is. I've seen other videos from plant people, and it's called something else. Um, I think it's a silver satin. I mean, the Scindapsus kind of always look the same to me. So the lady that I got this from said it was a Scindapsus silver satin. So I'm just gonna go with that for now. But he was. I don't know if this is proper. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or the plant is maybe suffering a little bit because it might need to be repotted. Um, I know it does. I can start seeing the roots from the bottom. Um, but when I first got it, the leaves were really curly. So I don't know if that means it's been neglected by water or sunlight or something like that. But lately, the new growths that have been coming in, obviously they're small because I don't have it climbing anything right now, and it's not going to be climbing when I repot it until I can get just a stake. Um, but yeah, so far it's slowly started the leaves to flatten out, which is good. I don't exactly know why. I'm just assuming that it could just be a lack of water and maybe sunlight. Um, but it's a lot of people grow these in not dark places, but in lower light places. So I'm hoping that with repotting this, I might propagate it as well. Now that I think about it, um, because maybe it needs to put its energy into something. But I really like how it looks, like a lot. So I tried folding it in on itself to maybe see if some of the aerial roots would get into the soil, and it doesn't quite look like it, but either way, I'm repotting it, so it's gonna be. So, this will be the first one that I'm going to repot. Now, personally for me, I enjoy terracotta. I love terracotta pots. Oh, perfect. Um, I'm someone who really likes to water my plants. That could just be the fact I don't have as many as some people do. Um, I can't remember how many I'm at, but I'm at enough where people would say, oh, that's a little crazy. No big deal. I like plants. Doesn't matter. Okay, so. Are these the same size? Oh, no, okay. This is like slightly bigger, so it should be okay. I'm hoping it's gonna be fine. So, move this out of the way for, looks. So, the type of soil that I use the Pro Mix soil. I know a lot of people use Miracle Grow, and it is a great soil. I've used it before in gardens. But lately, I find that the plants that I have now that I've been using with the Pro Mix are doing better. Now, it could be I'd be giving them more light, I'm watering them properly, it could be a bunch of things. But personally, I like the Pro Mix soil. I find it not as compact. It's actually quite fluffy. And it just seems to be going really well. Like, I've had plants literally bounce back after I've put this soil into it. And that's just my own experience. I'm not being sponsored by them or anything like that. But, Promix if you want to. But yeah, I got like the big, like 40-pound bag. It was on sale for like $20, so like, why not, right? But okay. So, Promix soil, perlite, and as you may know in my last couple videos, I use worm castings. Now, I've found the worm castings have been doing quite well compared to other fertilizers that I've used. It seems to be, I mean, it's natural, right? It's worm poop. So that's probably why it's working the best. But anyways, let's do repotting, and I'll keep chit-chatting while I do that. So let's repot my Skindapsis silver side. So for getting into plants, I mean, I've always loved plants. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it's therapeutic, right? Like it's something that you gotta take care of. And I mean, I don't know, like it's just something that's always sat with me nicely, right? And I don't really know how to explain it. It could be just like my grandmother always grew flowers. Both of my grandmothers do. Um, and like, I've always been surrounded by flowers, like all the time. I've watched my grandmother plant flowers. I've helped her plant flowers and everything like that. I don't know. I think it's just also a fond memory that I used to do with my late great grandmother. And she was super funny. She was really great. I miss her a lot. And I just always remember she always had a really nice garden, like super pretty, no matter where she lived. And I mean, she lived in the same house for basically her entire life up until the point when she actually had to go into a home, which was sad because she was like the life of the party all the time. She was my crazy grandma, and I love her. I love her to death. I still love her. You never stop loving them. But yeah, she never, not that I can recall, she never taught me anything about plants. By the way, I generally use half and half, unless it's a plant that really needs that extra drainage, so I'll add more perlite. But personally for me, I, for like the worm castings and stuff, I don't know if it's right, it's just what I've been doing. I just put them on top, and then I give them a good water so it all soaks through. And then generally what I've realized now is that when I don't see the worm castings there anymore, that's when I kind of go, okay, it's time to refertilize them. And that's one thing I've been trying to keep on top of these days. Ooh, these roots. Is that I'm almost out of fertilizer because I give it a good layer, which should give it a good amount of fertilizer. And yes, as you can see, these are propagations from the lady, which is fine. I don't care. I already had an idea that's what it was anyways, just by how it looked. But it's okay. Propagations are still plants, and it's still love. And the roots actually look great, so I haven't overboarded them. I have not found any root rot yet, so that is fantastic. There's not as many roots as I thought there were gonna be, but maybe with giving it just a little bit of extra room, it might do better. So yeah, so my grandmother, she would always have really nice plants. Like I would help her garden every year at her trailer, and yeah, like it's, I don't know, I never really had anybody to teach me about plants. I kind of just learned on my own as I kind of went with it. I only really started getting serious into plants. I'm just gonna. I really only got serious about plants at the start of the pandemic. Which is, it's funny because literally I decided to start collecting plants in the middle of a pandemic when I lived in an apartment that didn't even face the sun. I got no sunlight. Like, I might have gotten sunlight for an hour in the morning, but that was at in the summertime, 5 or 6. In the winter, it's talk. it was pretty sad. I was on the dark side, and I was like, I'm gonna start collecting plants, because why not? That's smart, right? What was I even talking about? These plants, obviously. Yeah. So I I was never really taught anything, and I decided to start collecting plants when I lived in an apartment with no sunlight, and I had this old cabinet that I dragged with me through like 4 or 5 different moves, and just gonna maybe. I can be terrible at repotting sometimes, so bear with me if it takes a little longer than what you're used to seeing online. Yeah, so that was basically the beginning of the pandemic is when I decided I was going to start collecting plants. I didn't think it would turn into this, honestly. A lot of things kind of came into light once I started really kind of getting into everything. Tuck you under here. Get under. Perfect. Yeah, it's kind of an odd time when you decide to start collecting plants when you don't have the sunlight to collect plants. But either way, I liked plants, and I've always loved plants, so I was like, why not, right? So I dealt with a lot of sadness when I was doing that, and it's like you can only do so much, right? Like when you don't have any sunlight or even any real idea of how to really take care of houseplants, because honestly, I didn't think of. It's gonna sound funny, repotting. Like I wonder why people did it, which is stupid because it's, in my opinion, it's kind of obvious why you repot it so your plant can get bigger and not suffocate and die. But again, I'm going at this by myself. Like again, I just knew gardening, and I was just sticking perennials into the ground, and then next thing you know, you got to go out and buy more. But yeah, so I had this cabinet. We called it like my Chinese cabinet because it kind of reminded me of a cabinet you'd find in China. And so basically, what ended up coming about that was it had doors, right? So you could technically put a TV in it if it was small enough, which I did do at one point, and it worked great. But then I got a bigger TV, so had to kind of get rid of it. Rid of the TV. I still had the cabinet. But anyways, I don't like this at all. Oh my goodness, where's that? There we go. Okay. So yeah, so basically what I decided to do was, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get a grow light, and I'm going to put plants in this cabinet with a grow light. They're gonna be kind of crowded, but you know what? It's a start, right? It's a start. So that was my plan. And the plan actually worked out quite well. And I had a couple die, but that's because, again, I had a polka dot plant. I really do love polka dot plants. I really do. I don't know the actual scientific name for it, but anyways, I really do like polka dot plants. They're super cute. And I had one before, and it lived quite well when I lived in a place that had a really bright indirect light. I'm gonna probably guess that it was a little too harsh, and I didn't water it enough, or I watered it too much. But in the end, all the leaves fell off, and then it just kind of died. So that was sad, but it was okay. You know, it happens, and I expected it to happen, at least with a couple of my plants. you'll see one of the plants I'm going to be repotting I've had for quite a while, and it does not look pretty, but I still love it. I'm trying to get it to bounce back because I feel bad. Because I don't want to get rid of it. I don't, because I've had it for years, like so long that I've had it for so long that literally it's moved with me about 3 times. Here's the 3rd time. So yeah, so I did that, and certain plants were doing great, others not so great, which again, it happens. I'm learning. It's not going to be perfect the first go. You want it to be. You always want it to be, and you don't want any plants to die. But again, it's gonna happen. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine once you start learning what the plants want and what they like, and how they're gonna adjust to wherever you're gonna put them. And yes, I'm taking off some of these leaves because I'm trying to bury this because it's super long, and I kind of want it to try and connect more into the soil. So I'm gonna... This is difficult. Okay. That should do it for now. So yeah, so then I did that, and I was like, okay, I can keep plants alive, which is fantastic. Keeping plants alive is good. Again, still new, so I still didn't quite know what I was doing and what exactly would make for a really good plant. But yeah, it doesn't make a good plant. Just helps you learn, right? Like that's the whole experience with plants, is what I find. You got to learn what they like, and sometimes you can get them to like things that they normally wouldn't like, or you wouldn't think would work. So I'm sure anybody who's watching this video who probably has a lot more experience than me, and if you don't, welcome to the club. But yeah, like, I think it's like with a lot of people with the pandemic and everything, I personally found it a way of not going out, but I don't know, just a bit of an escape, right? Like, I've always wanted plants. I always try to have some sort of plant wherever I live. And I always generally have. And currently what I'm doing, I'm putting some of the old soil back in. Just because I know it still has some of the worm castings. And as well as I find it kind of helps the plant adjust into the new soil. But yeah, so I'm a pandemic plant person. And not the most terrible way of starting out. It's just I didn't really know what I was doing. I wanted all these really cool plants that actually needed quite a bit of care. Now, at the time, I couldn't really afford it. I mean, these days I don't really think a lot of us could. In some cases. Some you can get super, super cheap, which is great. We all know those plants that are actually super expensive. It happens. It's when plants get popular, which is fine. Like, I get it. I mean, I'm hoping that I can save up to get a Monstera albo. And I found a place that so far it seems to be the cheapest, and they still look good, and they're based out of Toronto. So I'm gonna save up to get that eventually, because I'm not gonna talk too much about it, just because I don't know the company and I don't want to say anything, and next you know someone has a bad experience, or I have a bad experience. We don't want that. So, worm castings. Now, I got this Pure Life stuff, and this is what it says on it. Promotes plant growth and root structure, contains essential plant nutrients, increases moisture retention, which it does. Which is actually really good because how I feel it's that since it holds the moisture, it stays into the plant more and the plant absorbs more of it. And this was a 1.2 kilogram bag, or 5 liters, which is weird. Why would it not be in pounds? But anyways, I'm almost out. Mind you, I got it like a couple months ago, and I've used it pretty much about twice a month. I think I've done it. As soon as I've seen that I can't see it in the soil anymore, if it's like matched the color of the soil, that's when I'll do it again. And I'm throwing on a show because, undiagnosed ADHD probably. But anyways, so what I do, I just take a scoop and I just give it a nice layer on top. That seems to be doing the trick for everything. They seem to be enjoying it. All my plants do. My watering can, Pinky. Now, I love terracotta, like I said. And I get all my pots. So far, I've gotten all my pots from the dollar store. So I have had these little ones, and I got these ones, and literally this is $1.25. I have 3 of them. This is $1.75. I got 3 medium-sized ones. $2.50, and I got 2 of them. Again, $1.75 for 2. So I mean, you don't have to pay a crap ton of money for it. Oh, this is just really cool. That's with me. That's not even me spilling it. That's literally, see, some of it didn't get there. I personally like to make sure I get the whole plant as evenly watered as I can, because like I know that's how it looks. It's on this side, but if I get the rest of the soil moist, the roots can just kind of find their way. And plus, since I took off some of the leaves and some of the stems now are in this, I'm hoping that's going to give me more roots. It should, because there were a lot of aerial roots, so it should be good. Alright, so, nicely potted. I hope it does better. I feel bad for it, because I feel like curly leaves isn't right, but when I looked it up, it either says water or sun, so it doesn't really explain that very well. Or it does, but, what can you do, right? Okay. This is another Canadian tire plant. A philodendron hope. This is not a philodendron hope. But these days I'm not surprised. It's Canadian Tire, it's a big box. I wouldn't even call it a big box store, it's a giant store. If you're from Canada, you probably call it Crappy Tire. But I digress. This is actually, I believe, with a plant app that I used, plant ID app that I used, I think this is an Imperial Red Philodendron, which is really cool. I haven't had one, and I really love philodendrons so much, like so much. And I guess it's just because there's so many varieties and so easy to take care of. But my favorite plant is the philodendron pink princess, so I can't really say. But yeah, so I got this plant at Canadian Tire for $5. Now, when Canadian Tire first came out with their plants, I got a couple plants from them when they were first priced, which was $15. So it's not that bad at all. But yeah, so this one was $5. For good reason. This poor thing, it's still wet. And I bought this weeks ago. And it's been like maybe 2-3 weeks now. And I've had it outside. It's been hot. It's in the sun. Well, it gets about 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4 hours of full-on sunlight when the sun's going down, because it's on my porch and it faces west. And it's still wet. And on top of that, when I got it, it smelled like a swamp. Like, I don't I don't mind the smell of swamp. It's fine. Like, I mean, it's not fine. It's clearly it needs to be repotted or else it's gonna have some issues. I mean, the leaves are great. Like, that's like a really, really big leaf. Now it is sun stressed or sunburnt probably. But yeah, it's still wet, and I can't let it sit in this for much longer. So I'm gonna give it a slightly bigger pot. Yeah, that'll be perfect. And I'm hoping it's gonna be okay. It seems to be doing just fine, so I might slightly be overreacting on how it is just because of how much it smelled. Like it doesn't really smell like a swamp now. It smells like really, really wet soil. But when I got it and I had it in my car, it literally stunk up my car for the whole car ride. So I had to literally leave my windows open for like, it was only like an hour. Well, it's not that big of a deal, but I felt bad. I felt so bad for it. So let's see what I'm working with here with this poor thing, because I feel like it's gonna be surprisingly okay. It is root bound. The roots are red, which I'm assuming is okay, just because if it's an imperial red, I think that also means that the roots are red. Oh, okay. Soil's coming out good, so that's a plus. Oh. Yeah, no, the roots actually look okay, so maybe it was just, they just drenched it that day. I'm hoping that's what it is, but they all seem fine. There's no sludgy, like, yeah, there's no sludginess to it, but the roots look fantastic. I'm trying not to break too many, but I mean, it takes such focus. Alright, so it seems to be okay. Honestly, it seems to be okay. So I'm not as worried as what I was. So that's nice. Alright, that's almost basically all the roots. Or all the soil. I'm just gonna leave that for now. Yeah. Okay. We'll be good. We'll be good. Okay. So, what should I talk about next? Oh man. I'm sorry that I don't really know what to talk about. I mean, this is my first like real long video, so I apologize if it's too long for you guys. I lost my spoons in the worm castings, right? Yep. Yeah, I'm still, since I'm so new to even the YouTube thing, I guess I haven't really fully connected yet, which is fine, you know, like, it's a new thing, and I want this to kind of be something I can be proud of, you know. I'd like to be able to help people with plants, and it's probably not to be repotted, not too far from the future, but for now it's alright. I'd like this to be a future job, I guess you could say. I'd like to be able to sell plants and teach people about plants. Like, you know, a lot of YouTubers here, I even watch them. And I love what they do. Because houseplants are something that, you know, that people really enjoy, right? Like, it's a little piece of greenery in an otherwise cement world, right? I mean, you can't, in some places, you can't even go, you can go outside and still not see a damn tree. Which is it's so sad because of how much we've just taken over, right? And, you know, I really believe people need to start growing their own stuff. Because on top of plants being purifiers, which we all know, plants take in CO2, make oxygen for us to breathe. And being able to have plants in your home, personally for me, makes me feel so relaxed. The only time it doesn't is if I'm worried about bugs, which so far I've been pretty lucky with. I've only had the one issue with my dragon tail pothos. It had mealybugs, little furry guys. Yeah, mealybugs, yeah. And I mean, it turned out okay. Like, it's actually still alive, and I got rid of them. Which is, like, which is great. I honestly didn't think I'd be able to. Just because I've technically had spider mites before. And every time I've had spider mites, I have not been able to get rid of them. Ever. And they've just killed my plants. And the thing is, I make it harder on myself because I name everything. I name all my plants. This one doesn't have a name yet. Of course, right? Mainly because I just haven't thought of a name for it yet. Maybe you guys in the comments could help me out. It's an Imperial Red, so why don't you guys figure it out? And put down in the comments the names that you guys think would do well for this guy, and yeah, I'll pick my favorite. Sounds like something fun. Something fun we can do together on top of repotting. Because you know, this is nice. This is nice. It's relaxing. And with it being nighttime, you know, I enjoy nighttime. It's very peaceful. I am more of not a morning person, but daytime person. I like the sun, like most plants. But I'm also a Leo, so I'm fire. Anyways, there we go. Looks better. I don't really like the plastic pots, but they're useful, obviously. So there we go. Hopefully, we do have a new leaf coming in, and it looks like it might be okay, so that's great. So there we go. The Philodendron Imperial Red. I hope that's what it is. If not, you guys let me know if you guys know what this plant is. But plant app says Philodendron Red Imperial Red. Philodendron Imperial Red. Alright. Alright, just clean up some of this old soil first. I'm not very neat. I do not have a special table for this. I have a table. That's what I'm using. That I have some plants on. But anyways. Alright. So we're gonna save the old guy for last. The leaves are so big. Like, this is the biggest leaf right here. and it's so cool. I love how this plant is, and it's trailing nicely. I'm so enjoying this one so much. There's new leaves everywhere, and it makes me so happy. And it's crawling out of the bottom, so we get a nice. That should be okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's not really not too big. So we got a nice. Sorry, these big ones also from the dollar store were $3 each, so you can't really go wrong. The only way I say you can get them cheaper is if you make them yourself, which I plan on doing at some point. I want to get like one of those home kilns as well, because that would be fantastic. It would be so cool. I'd love it. I'd love it so much. I'm just gonna. Boop. All right. So, what's next should we talk about? I'm just gonna, since it's so big, I'm gonna throw in the soil and the perlite, and then I'm gonna mix it. I don't measure, I just guesstimate, and it seems to be working well for me. And I just take a spoon and I just stir it all up. Alrighty. I'll have to take out a bit, which is fine. No big deal. Yeah. I was talking about the fact that I would like to do this as a job. Yes, I would. I would absolutely love doing this as a full-time thing. Because I love plants so much, and I feel like I could maybe teach people. And with being in a situation that I am where I don't have a lot of light, so I've been basically figuring things out for what I got. Ooh. That was a little drier than I thought it was. Oh, look at that. Perfect. I'm just going to keep that cocoa coir in here because, why not, right? Yeah, that looks, yeah, that's good. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was just going to be a hobby. Just something I like to do. But then I really got into it. And I realized that I've been starting to give people advice about plants. And I've had people ask me about them. Now mind you, I'm no expert. I'm no expert whatsoever. I literally just started actually, I wouldn't even say seriously collecting plants. That was kind of like this year. When I really started doing it. Because it really got to me where I'm like, you know what? If I'm really interested in doing this as a career, then I need to really start learning. So that's why, it's not why I started a YouTube channel. That was to be able to maybe teach other newbies as well what to do and kind of follow me on my own journey, because me starting like doing these videos, I'm still learning. I mean, I'm learning about different ways of feeding plants, of what some plants might like better than others. And it's really interesting. And I mean, I never thought about it when I was younger. You know? And my dream as a kid is something I still want to do today. And what kind of sucks is the fact that I could have done it, but the one thing that threw me off about it was part of the job that I realize now, like, why did I not like that? Okay. I got this plant when I got the other plants when I went to Robert Planted in Ottawa. This was in a hanging basket. And it was so root bound that my fiance spent over 2 to 3 hours just trying to untangle the roots. He did a great job. He did what he could. So, I have it in this Chinese vase. And clearly, there's no drainage. I just shoved it in here. And I love it. I'm just questioning when it needs to get out, how I'm gonna get it out. That will be tricky. But anyway, so this was in. I have the pot still. Hang on. This was in that. There was almost like no soil. I have my fishbone calathea in here now. But that's what it was. And I propagated this so much. I took off this. As you can tell, it has the fenestrations on it. This one is almost mature, but it has that, getting that hole in it. There's the roots in it right now. And yeah, it's almost ready. Almost ready. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time. And then I got these 3 pieces. There's the one. It still has a leaf there that was unfurling. There's the roots there. I'm hoping it opens. It looks like it's going to be, and I know it's fenestrated. You can tell by how the leaf is. I'm hoping it stays alive. I'm making this so much harder for me. Okay. And then there's these 2. As you can tell, the leaves were rough. So this one is just starting to get its root. And I put all these in the same time. That one just took a little bit longer. And here's this one. And again, almost fully fenestrated leaf. Thought there was a growth point on here. I'm just hoping it's not going to be just these 2. We'll have to wait and see. It's almost ready to pot. Both of them are almost ready. All of them are almost ready, honestly. And so I gotta put those in. Get back in there. But yeah. Now she has so much more growth coming in. It's great. And I don't care that she's not fully fenestrated. I actually kind of like her, how she's like that. Because it looks good. Like, it suits the pot. So I'm really interested in seeing it when more arrow roots come out and it just kind of just grabs right on it, just goes everywhere. Like, to me, it doesn't have to be perfectly pretty. Why do you think I still have that money tree? It's just, I will let a plant grow how it wants to grow. I do plan on getting certain poles for some planks or something like that. Mainly because I want to try and get them as big as I can. It's going to take forever. It's just fine. It's okay. But the fact that some plants are just so easy to propagate and to be able to sell is great. I'm just trying to learn before I get to that point, so I've cut a couple plants. The pothos, I cut part of my marble queen pothos, and it has roots now. I technically could probably pot a couple of those now. You know what? Alright, so I have a couple cuttings here. I don't think these are going to be too small for right now. I don't think it's going to really matter. Trial and error. So there's my, there's the pothos. I'm going to say this is okay to repot. I'm gonna have to do a bigger one due to the stem itself, and I don't want to cut it because I don't know what's gonna happen. This is my very first propagated plant. I'm gonna cut it a little bit, just enough so that it can fit into this. Because these aren't growing at all, so I'm just gonna... Please don't hate me for that. Okay. So we're gonna do that. Now, I know I said it's a marble queen. There's no more, I doubt it's gonna come back. You know, that's okay, because I really like how the green is. It is green. It is really pretty, so... I'm not too upset about it. I am a little bit, but that's why I kind of cut it. That's why I did cut it, is so that, just cause. Just cause I wanted to see if I could get the rest of it. The rest of the plant is doing good, technically. It's getting more color. Now it could be because literally I have it outside. And it seems to be doing quite well. I have most of my plants outside. Other than ones that didn't seem to be doing too well, like my monsteras kind of didn't seem to like being outside. And it's not like they were in full sun or anything. They just, their leaves would always kind of curl down, and I would check to see if the soil was wet. The soil was wet. It wasn't like they were drowning or anything. So I just guessed that they just didn't like it outside. So that's no big deal. They're inside, still looking beautiful, and they're doing better inside. So so that's good. That's no bother to me. I like having my plants inside. It's so strange. But yeah, so this was my very first propagation. I cut it back in May. I don't know if that was too early. I don't think it was. It might have been a little bit too early because you're supposed to do it in the summertime. I gotta fill this up just a second. I also just realized what time it is, and it's like 5 to 10. So I'm sorry if this video is long. I'm gonna try and cut out some of it. It's gonna take forever to freaking upload because I'm using my phone. So, yeah. But it's long videos are still nice. I just know I rambled probably a little more than I personally would have liked to, but if you kept along this far, give it a like. But yeah, learning about the plants has been a really interesting experience. Do I want to plant this now? No, that probably needs to stay a bit more. This has unfortunately done nothing. That makes me really sad, because I really liked the size of it, and it's curled, so it's probably not going to make it. But I want to keep trying. That's why I had it in with the pothos, because the pothos is supposed to put out those root type, like a root chemical. I don't know if this is a root or a leaf, but it's weird. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna put this in a pot. I'm gonna put it in a small pot. Yeah, that'll be fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, most of like my cuttings and stuff like that, like this philodendron Rio, I got from a lady that lives by me. Super cool, really nice. And yeah, she has so many awesome plants. And I went to pick up a plant from her, and she asked if I wanted any cuttings of anything. And because she had to trim her plants, right? So I said, yeah, sure, whatever you want to give me, I'll gladly take them. So she gave me a bunch, Micans, philodendron Rio, the Scindapsus here. I think she gave me 2 of it, so I think the other one might be rooting. I'll check in a second. I know the Micans have rooted. It's like, oh, it's like right down into the bottom of the bottle that I have. Yeah, once I'm done, that's super cute. I love that. That's adorable. I just hope it lives. So, good luck. Good luck. One thing I also do every now and then, I don't know if it works, to me it feels like it would, is, I put plant music on to help growth. Apparently I'm missing one of my propagation bottles. I don't know what happened, but I'm missing one of my propagation bottles that had cuttings in it. And I know I just saw it, like, right in front of me because I brought it over because it's right here. Anyways, okay. So yeah, I have 2 cuttings in here of the Scindapsus. And one has a root. So we're just gonna take out the Micans. I'm gonna repot that. I'm gonna put it in with the other ones once it gets to it. Look at that. And there's the one little root. So we'll just put you all the way down in there. I don't know if it's because it's not getting enough light or what, but I'm going to take off this leaf so I can put it down more. see if that works. I'm gonna get in there. Just gonna top it off a bit. Alright, so here's the Micans. Yeah, I'm gonna have to trim from one stem just a little bit. I hope this doesn't kill it. It's gonna look a little funky because that's all that's in it. Ah, okay. Alrighty. I swear to God, I thought I cut it there, and I was like, oh my God, did I seriously just do that? I am going to cut that off, because that has nothing in it. See if that helps it any bit. Yeah, so I got all my cuttings generally from, oh, that is a leaf. Awesome. At least I got these ones from a lady who lives, just in town. And, yeah, I literally just went over to her place to pick up a different plant, and, I was just admiring all of her plants, and she asked, what I currently had, and I told her. She's like, oh, you have da-da-da-da-da, or da-da-da-da-da, and I was like, yeah, I have blah, blah, blah. And, so she has bigger versions, obviously, because she's been growing hers a lot longer. So, like, she gave me the Micans, and, my Micans is actually pretty full, when I got it, but, I might put this one in with it when it gets, a little bit better, or if not, I might just keep chopping it with the bigger leaves, and hopefully it produces bigger leaves. But yeah, I personally like getting them from people, because, you know, you're giving money to someone who could probably use it, and they've put their time and effort into it. It's like the one I got, the burro's tail, from this lady, and she had it for like 3 years, and it's gorgeous. I love it so much. And I paid a decent amount for it, and it's funny because there was a Cebu blue pothos at the one garden store near me, and it was the same price, and it was super full, and it had the fenestrations on it. And I could have bought it, but I didn't. And I feel kind of silly for not, because I paid $10 for a single cutting, which I have cut and hopefully propagated so I can have this little tiny Cebu blue. But there we go. There's the Micans. You know, not pretty, but adorable. Okay. That's it. No more. That is me done for the night. I've been going at this for apparently like almost 2 hours. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this repotting and a little bit of plant talk. I know it was fairly long, so if you stuck through it the entire time, thank you so much. Drop a like if you did. And, yeah, the plants that I showed you, other than my money tree, which is, my money tree and the neon pothos, they both have names. The neon pothos is called Sublime, and my money tree is called, Mr. McMoney Dunleaf. My fiance came up with that name. He says it reminds him of Crocodile Dundee. but we called it Make Money Done Leaf, so either way. Yeah, I think that's about it. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. I gotta put these back, clean up, put the soil that I have away, and yeah, continue to watch a couple of my shows. If you heard it in the background, I'm just rewatching a show that I love. But yeah, I think that's it for now. If you check my TikTok, I am doing that 100 plant challenge, which is every day you talk about one plant. I know I don't have 100, so that means I'm gonna have to buy some more later when I get closer to that. Unless I find one on a good deal. So we'll see. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Again, drop a like if you made it this far. And yeah, if there's any plants that you think that I might be able to grow or you would like to see me try and grow and take care of with how the lighting situation is in my house, if it's similar to yours where you kind of have one area that's like bright, but that's about it, let me know. And I'll see if I can either find one or just buy one. I haven't ordered any plants online yet. I've been really tempted to, but again, I like getting them from people because then I know they're already alive. Generally, I haven't had a single issue with anybody, plant-wise yet, so that's good. So everyone that I usually I've got my plants from have been taken care of very well. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great night, and thank you for joining Delia's Plant Nook, and I hope to see you guys again soon. And I'll try and keep more of a schedule, if I can. I'm going to be starting a new job soon, so we'll see how that goes. But I have the mornings, so if not, I will be filming at night. But yeah, you guys have a great night. Don't forget to water your plants, and have a snack. It doesn't matter. Have that snack that you want. We all know you want it. Alright guys, have a good night. Thanks for watching.